Welcome back to our Budget Day live evening roundtable panel. This primetime telecast goes on till about 10:30. Sushma Swaraj says this budget is, Meghnad, they say, unimaginative, it is dull, it is boring, there is nothing for women, nothing for youth, nothing for the poor, nothing for boosting the agro sector or controlling prices. You have counters to that, or would you like to agree with it?
I would say thank heavens. I think this is the budget which is the budget required for a sober wait while the economy sorts itself out. He accepted, had he said, I don't accept 6%, I want 9%, he would have gone and done things which have been destabilizing the economy. I say it's a good, responsible...
But it's the opposition being a little thankless. After all, there's the Nirbhaya Fund. Let's take up women. Let's take up women. Proposal to set up India's first women's bank. Gender budget increased, child budget increased. Women, there are new schemes which have been put together. Substantial increase in
just for kind information. First, they cut all the expenditure last year on all these schemes, and now they are claiming an increase. Otherwise, they haven't even provided for inflation in this budget, in the amounts for all these schemes. And
you're intimidated a bit by that.
A women's bank. And 1,000 crores probably wouldn't even be able to service Mumbai and Delhi.
No.
We are talking about large
capital,
Now, if it's capital, let me tell you what they did with the Skill Development Corporation. They got Mr. Ramadurai to head it. They provided 1,000 crore last year, similar to this 1,000 crore. And in this year's budget, this year's implementation, they say
let's get
it's not required, so we are not
nothing for
giving
education. You say nothing for the youth. There's a 17% increase
over
in
what?
education.
Budget estimate or revised estimate?
Over the revised estimate of 2012
So what they did is they cut first 15% from the last year's budget, and then they're saying it's a revised.
Let's get Manish in, to the response
I
to
think, it's extremely unfortunate that we are getting into a spectre where you have opposition for the sake of opposition.
I'm specific.
I'm coming to specific. Piyush, I never interrupted you. You should have the patience of listening to an answer. The fact is that the government has, indicated a direction that yes, we are going to set up an all-women bank. There has been criticism saying that you could have augmented the number of women across public sector banks rather than going and setting up a dedicated bank. But the reason why government chose to do that is because we wanted to send out a strong signal to women entrepreneurs that here is a government which is committed to inclusive growth. Now let me extrapolate it. Is women's reservation only symbolism?
Let me counter that.
No, is women's reservation only symbolism? It is not. It is inclusion. Therefore, this is to promote inclusion. That you make provision.
I take your point.
You make an announcement, provide for it, and then you go and expand. That's what you did with the entire agriculture revolution in Eastern India.
You already has a target for women.
But the minister says, while saying so, that the modalities for that are yet to be set up. In other words, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, let me bounce this off you. When the modalities have not been set up, and when you're 1 year to the UPA, who's going to remember 1 year from now what actually happened? This could be seen, don't take it otherwise, as pure, good symbolism. And that's where a larger point is being made. This is not the only one. There are several other areas where outlays are made. Detailing is not done, and therefore there's a lot of...
Before you go to Rajiv, I'll just make a small interjection. Question is that government is a continuum. It is not that government goes into a hiatus after every general election. So therefore, when you plan for a country, you plan medium term or long term. Okay. You don't plan only for 1 year.
Okay.
So therefore, once you've taken an initiative, and you've made a budgetary provision in that, you expect government to stay the course.
Is there no urgency?
Well, there is an urgency. That's why you made a budgetary provision. That's exactly what you did with
you buy that.
Green Revolution.
You buy that argument, Rajiv?
No, look, on this Women's Bank and the Nirbhaya Fund thing, I think while we can all accept the contention that the heart is in the right place and the feeling behind it is genuine, but I think there were smarter and much better ways of achieving this. Let's be very clear, we need not have started another bank. This is, at one end we are talking about disinvestment and getting the government to shrink and get less and less into the business of business. There could have been I would have given you half a dozen ways of achieving this objective without setting up a completely new superstructure of a new bank, new headquarters, new, all of the paraphernalia that comes along with it. when we talk about women's police station, we don't say there's a separate women's police force.
Yeah.
We say there are women's only police stations. So you could have had various banks of State Bank of India and other PSU banks that were only staffed by women and only.
So it doesn't work for you.
So I think maybe the feeling, this is more of a reaction to the general sentiment that people are feeling today about, women needing more empowerment, but there could have been smarter ways of doing this.
Or it's strategy that you don't have the money to go for the big schemes. So
And
you do
also,
small ones which cost very little, may or may not have modalities set for them, you may never even spend any money for them, but which have good cosmetics.
which is the same thing. The bigger symbolism, Manish Tiwari, if I can ask you that question, is about the schemes that he has announced. When he talks about the food security bill, he says 10,000 extra. It's just not there in the provisions of the budget.
It is not 10,000 crores.
No.
One minute. There are others.
Mr. Raja,
The direct cash transfers, again, no
We have 3 minutes left, so Mr. Raja.
provision in the budget. Will these amount to actually just announcements in a
Navika, that is
pre-election year?
completely not correct. There is a provision in the budget for the food security bill over and above the food subsidies. It is 10,000 crores. It is a line item. Therefore, he's provided for that in the budget. And similarly, for all the other announcements that he has made, he has made explicit provisions. They are no below the line items. Everything which has been announced has been accounted for in the budget.
Yeah. Now, the question, Mr. Raja is not satisfied with your answer. Mr. Raja,
there are announcements which are not at all convincing. What is this cash transfer? Scholarships. Already there are cash transfers, direct benefit transfer, scholarships given to the students, old age pension given to the old age people. What is new in it? And as though your money, your hand. What is this slogan?
Raja, are you opposed to it or do you support it?
I am opposed.
No, do you oppose the direct benefits transfer or you support it?
It is already direct.
No.
What I am trying to say, already there are some schemes which are direct cash transfer schemes.
So therefore, if something...
it is not new.
So if there's something which benefits the people, you should not oppose it for the sake of opposing it.
No. It is not cash transfer in terms of replacing food, fuel. I am opposed to it, and I don't agree with
the finance
cash
minister said
transfer
that food and fuel will come last in line after we've done the rest.
These are the issues we should have some. These are the issues we should have some deeper thought, and certain announcements have been made thoughtlessly. That's what
I asked this house.
That's what I'm saying.
I asked this house. Would you say Chidambaram has performed despite the economic conditions? Because we've seen, let's look at Chidambaram now. Now we can discuss the whole budget. Given the record, Arun Jaitley says it's verbose, extremely low on substance and as jugglery. What about performing despite the circumstances? Would you give him some leg room there? Mr. Trivedi, you would?
No, I just want to look at much bigger picture, India, okay? And I'm not on rhetorics. If there would have been somebody else, I would have said, yes, very good job.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Chidambaram. He is one of the brightest person and a very dear friend of mine. He may be fit to become the Prime Minister of India also.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this from him.
Okay.
That is what it is. What I would have expected, if you want to really kickstart the economy, if you want to start the kickstart the economy, you have to spend huge amount of money on railways, on roadways, and on agriculture. That's what I didn't see. I would have been very happy to see that, and that's what it is.
Last interjection from the other side of the
that
table.
under the circumstances, then perhaps yes.
Last interjection from the other side of the table. Keep it brief.
Mr. Tiwari mentioned about environmental activism being 20 years old. He mentioned about the problems that they have faced being old.
Yeah.
In that case, it all the more justifies. Why did the situation deteriorate in 2 years?
Well, okay.
Why did Bullock strategy take 13 months?
Mr. Tiwari,
sort out cooling. And even after that, it's not sorted out.
I'm surprised that Piyush is even asking that question.
As far as the
when did Lehman Brothers tumble? Lehman Brothers
what does environment got to do with Lehman Brothers?
They tumbled in 2008. So therefore, if you are in a tough economic situation today, it is the backlash of what happened after the global economic meltdown. You cannot divorce yourself from that reality.
Okay,
gentlemen, one
budget. If you
budget
want to give dignity to common man, you have to give education and health, which is missing.
One budget cannot fix years of fiscal, indiscipline, mismanagement, profligacy, global circumstances, whatever.